Welcome back to Famico's TV, where we highlight people, programs, and purpose, strengthening our communities every day. I'm your host, Ebony Webster, and today we're talking about a topic that impacts nearly every family in some way, and that's mental health. Joining us today is actually one of our partner organizations from Kindred Harbor Behavioral Health, the owners, Dr. Taj Hussein and Hafiz Hussein. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
A very important topic that can be stigmatic as well. So, first of all, thank you for the work that you're doing, obviously, to combat that.
Yeah.
And then let's get right to it.
Sure.
All right. So, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey into the behavioral health industry, so to speak.
Okay. I guess I'll start. So, my name's Hafiz Hussein. I'm the co-founder of Kindred Harbor Behavioral Health. My journey into this kind of started after my career with the Marines. I was in the Marines for 18 years. I was in a special forces unit, toured all over the world in a lot of austere locations. And when I was close to getting out, my sister, approached me about starting our own place.
Brother and sister.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's my sister, the other co-founder, approached me about starting our own place. We threw some ideas around about kind of doing some like hospice stuff or maybe like some kind of housing for people that need it. And we started looking at housing and doing zoning and whatnot, and decided that we were going to pivot because she already has the degree in social work, the doctorate in social work. So we decided to kind of dive into that world and see where that took us. And so I'll let her go into her, her piece of it. But my side of this is I do all the admin functions. So the the payroll, the credentialing, the anything that has to do with the computer or electronics, that's all me. And then Dr. Taj is like the client facing and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And Dr. Taj, what about you and your inspiration in founding this organization?
Sure. So I'm a social worker by trade. I like to say I'm a social worker with legal training because I also graduated from Cleveland Marshall Law School as well. But I never went further with that. And kind of I did a little bit of work like as a law clerk, but it just wasn't my calling.
Exactly.
So, and I came right back to social work. And I've worked with various populations. I mean, when I sit back and think about it, it's like, wow, I've worked with a lot of different groups and types of people in different categories, different identities. And how I ended up wanting to found Kindred Harbor with my brother, I was working at Metro Health in their infectious disease department. So working with people living with HIV and AIDS.
Yeah.
And I had two coworkers. Well, I was studying to get my doctorate and busting my hump, working full time, doing that. And when I graduated, I had a coworker that spoke with me. We call her our guardian angel. Her name is Mickey Cheney. And the other one is Akeem Rollins. The two people that were for my place were very pivotal in me arriving to where we are now. Nice. But as I was talking with her, I'm like, okay, so all right, so I have this esteemed title now, Dr. Taj. I'm like, so I need to find a place where I can go and maybe land in administration or become the executive director of some agency. And she was basically you have your own vision, you're smart enough, you're competent, you should start your own place. And I'm just like, social workers can do that? And she's like, yes. Yeah. If you're an independently licensed social worker, your signature on a report, a piece of paper, it holds the same weight as a psychologist. it's a strong credential to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's terminal. It's like the buck stops there. You can say this is what it is, So, and she just encouraged us, and basically she taught me how to do it because she started one on her own, and she taught me how to do it for free because she believed in me, and so I know that's very rare in this world. It would have cost a lot of consulting hours for the support she provided for us to get on our feet.
Nice.
And we try to honor her in every chance we get.
Yeah.
Because she changed my life.
Yeah.
She changed my life.
That's very interesting. And you mentioned vision, you mentioned purpose, and you mentioned just someone who believed in you, so the belief system, right? And making sure that you walked in your purpose and then just kind of like compromise to what the status quo says to do in regard to I got my degree and I got to go do this and do that. So with that being said, so with you, Hafiz, let me ask you, you were in the military.
Yes.
And we know that, we'll talk about the seniors in a minute, but veterans. There's also a big population that we have at Famico's Foundation and then just in our communities. Is that something that also kind of led you just seeing what happens to our veterans when they're home and we know they deal with a lot of PTSD and, so is that something that you that led you to say, okay, well, my sister, I believe in what you're saying because I also have this passion as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I know that the veteran community especially has a very severe problem with the PTSD because the military doesn't do a great job sometimes of providing the resources that you need to before you get out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll go from a deployment and right after deployment you're out. You were just shooting at people and getting shot at, getting blown up and the whole thing, and then literally come home and within 30 days you're back on the streets and you don't have resources to deal with your thoughts, to deal with your feelings or any of that. So there's a lot of the space that we are able to provide is for everybody. We do have a couple different niches. One thing I do want to start really leaning into more is the veterans because there is underserved population there and they are suffering and most of them want somebody that can relate to them and that's where I can come in. I am a CDCA, but there's a lot of people that won't talk to people because they feel like they don't have the same struggle as them.
Right.
But everybody is a pack animal. The more that you isolate yourself is the most damaging thing you can do to yourself. So that's where I want the veterans to kind of like, all right, well, if I talk to somebody that knows a little bit, maybe they can like introduce me to somebody that they trust and then I will trust them. Because again, we're pack animals. We want to be around people.
Right.
But when you start isolating, that's like the worst thing you can do to yourself.
And the numbers are staggering. I can't quote it specifically, but I know it's a really high percentage in regard to our homelessness.
Yes.
There's a very high percentage that are veterans and then senior veterans.
Yeah.
Right. And then you mentioned about just having, asking for help, needing that resource. But you've been in the military, it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember a gentleman, he said, if you know I need help, just give me help. I'm not asking for it. It's the pride.
It is a pride thing.
It's the proud thing. It's the pride. So
and you can be penalized too. Like if you show and ask for that help, I believe you can be penalized. Like you may not get a promotion, or they may consider you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. In the military,
Is it true?
especially, you are taught not to go to sick call or the doctors. You want your record jacket to be thin because then you don't want to be seen as a sick bay commando. So they tell you don't go to the doctor. They tell you don't talk to don't tell the psychiatrist, because if you tell them your real thoughts, your real problems, they will pull you out of your job. And that's like, again, the worst thing that can happen. You want to be on the teams. You want to be out there, but then everybody needs a pause every now and then.
Right.
No matter who you are. You start running red line, you will need that pause to get you back to where you can operate functionally.
Yeah.
So
that's very unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And then that carries over to once you become out of the military. and you still have that mindset, right? And then, go ahead.
So with the military thing, you know, I won't keep harping on that part because we see everybody.
It's serious,
but
yeah. Mm-hmm.
There is, you know, people that need to get seen. They won't get seen, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to provide them the help, but then a lot of our skills and a lot of the skills that you pick up, they don't know how to translate them. And that's another thing that they don't know how to say, like, because you're taught never to say anything. So how do I tell you that I'm my heart hurts? Like, I lost my buddy. I want to cry, you know?
Yeah.
You don't want to say those things because you don't want to seem like a weak person.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to say that. You need to be able to talk about your experiences and what happened. Like, but it's just not taught to say those because you're the man. You can't do that.
Right.
Like, that's not good.
Right. Now, mental health has become a more common topic, and I really honestly believe, and I'm speaking more about our demographic, okay? Because at one point there was a stigma. We don't talk about that. We don't need help. We're used to the struggle and we can push through like our ancestors did, right? Mm-hmm. But now it's becoming more of a common topic because we're tired. I need help, you know? And so my question to you, even though it's becoming a more common topic, there still is a stigma. You know, I come from a background, we go pray this away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why do you think that stigma still exists?
It's a good question. I think that it's just generational, like, you know, hold it in and you just got to deal with it instead of being able to, for me personally, my PTSD and all of the things that I have experienced I'm so much better able to, like, get it off of me and release it when I talk about it. And a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but like, those conversations need to be had. If that's with a professional, if that's with a buddy, if that's whoever it is, you still need to have those conversations. And
I think also another component is like distrust of systems. You know, even psychology, it's documented that there were abusive practices towards Black people, experimentation historically, and then you know, distrust is there too. Like, you know, I'm not telling these people what's really going on with me. Will they take my children then if I say I'm depressed? And I didn't. Right. And one day I had to stay in bed and I couldn't cook because I was depressed. Are they gonna, you know, stuff like that? And it's like, I'm not airing my dirty laundry to these white folks like that. You know,
very true.
And that's why for us, it's important for us to have therapists that people can see themselves when they look at our therapists. That's part of our mission.
That's a great segue because I think even myself, I went through therapy and I was like, oh, this is so refreshing. There is no judgment. It's literally a safe space. So what misconceptions do you think people often have about therapy?
I think, I'll let you start with this one.
I think people, so especially with trauma, because of the physiological component to trauma, which is actually feeling sensations in your body related to it. I think a lot of people, if that it's so uncomfortable, and they think if I talk about this, I'm just like, I've heard it described as like, it feels like I'm just gonna just blow up or rip in half if I really let some of that stuff up that I've been, you know, using all my strength to keep down so that I could just make it through the day.
And now it's being like, weak.
Yeah, if I open, it's like if I open it, is it gonna just gush forward like a volcano and I'm just done? You know, I just break in half. If I revisit this stuff, you know, and I pushed it down for so long, like, you know, that kind of thing. And like, you know, a skilled therapist isn't going to come in that first day and say, oh, let's talk about some essay when you were a child. It doesn't, it's going to be, we're going to work our way into and rapport, and, you know, but I think that's one big part of it is, especially with trauma. And then just feeling like, well, what is talking going to do? How is that going to help? Just talking about it. It happened. It's in the past. Like, what does that do? What's that going to do? I don't need to talk to nobody about that. I think that's another big one. They just think that, like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
I think one of the common ones I've seen is people thinking that they're too messed up for therapy, which is like if I talk to a therapist out, they'll leave in a crate, they'll go to the loony bin because I got so many thoughts or whatever. But that's what the professionals are there for. If you find a good therapist, it really does work. Like that's the whole purpose. That's the profession is what they do. So I've seen that where people are. I'll make the therapist crazy if they hear what I have to say, or it's like, no, that's not how it goes.
Now, regarding who you've seen, and you say you serve a vast population, not just veterans, not just seniors, but everyone. What mental health needs do you commonly see amongst the population we serve, particularly like within our inner cities?
I mean, there's the trauma is the biggest portion.
Is it trauma from like past experience, maybe grief trauma? Is it something that happened to you trauma, or is it just kind of just?
So unfortunately, with PTSD, there has to be like a precipitating like event, or like so it like breaks down into a rubric of before you can like diagnose someone with it.
Okay.
And so a lot of things that people experience and are having like traumatic distress responses to, they don't qualify them for a diagnosis. It's because it's very narrow and specific. And I know that trauma advocates are fighting to get some of these, they call them little t traumas, to get those included in, or some kind of designation for that, so that is recognized. And it's not just where you have to put it as some kind of related to trauma disorder, not giving them the actual PTSD diagnosis. Okay. But I think in the inner city, there's like a community violence component as well. So I know I've read some research that if you grew up in a community where there's a lot of violence or guns or anything like that, it's akin to growing up in like a war zone. Wow. As far as like the impact on that child's brain. If you're kind of hearing gunshots and things like that, and you're scared, and it's akin to like how those babies feel in Gaza right now. It's akin to that.
That's powerful.
The research shows that. So I think that's like, so there's like this big overlay of community violence in some communities, and then there's unhealed people that are like doing their best to like raise families and make things work. And there is some other research that says that living in poverty is traumatic as well too. Just living in a heightened state of like, are we going to be able to eat today? Is also traumatic.
Or get gas tomorrow.
Get gas.
These gas prices.
Yes. So they're just like they're on edge all the time, It's like, so and that's like, it wouldn't qualify for PTSD, but like that mom that is just constantly like putting scraps together to make sure she has a meal, or just like she's just
overstimulated.
She's
and
activated all the time,
Yeah.
And her central nervous system is just like and she just and it's very hard for her to relax and rest. As she's and that's.
And then the school will call because the kid will get a D, and she'll blow up on the kid, and now he's getting the
misplaced
he's
anger
receiving all
and,
that energy. It's a whole thing.
That's definitely it makes sense. That your environment, your community. How does genetics play a role in mental health? How is that passed on?
So I won't quote any, because I don't know anything offhand to quote like statistics wise. I will say that there's a specific area of that world that I'm very interested in, which is epigenetic trauma.
Okay.
So that is, so they actually this hypothesis, or these theories and experiments came from their work with people who were the descendants of Jewish people that were in the Holocaust.
Okay.
And what they found from that research was that what happened to those people, it changed the DNA. It changed their DNA.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they were more prone to certain diseases, more prone to almost like their children were kind of having similar distress responses, like not being in that
But
situation.
because it was genetically,
yes.
Wow.
And so, of course, we haven't done anything to see how 500 years might
With
have impacted us.
yeah, exactly.
We did do it to see how less than
yeah.
10 years impacted that community,
Yeah.
and we needed to do that, and that's important. But then we also have 500 years of epigenetic trauma, and so that's one area that I can't speak to anything specific, but
Sure.
it's of great interest to me. Like all the part of it too is like we have these like outsized numbers of different medical issues and stuff. And could that be an epigenetic issue? Even one of them that is really interesting to me is that African American or Black women have fibroids at an outsized number compared to the other population. But guess who's the other group of women that has fibroids more than any other women? Jewish women.
Wow.
And what do we have in common? So, but I don't know. I'm sure there's some research for us now, but there are, because Black people are showing up in STEM.
Yeah.
So I know that I know there's some research now, but it is an very underdeveloped field of study. But yeah.
Now, as far as like emotional trauma, and while you were talking, I was just thinking about and you serve some of our residents at our Notre Dame apartment, and we have a couple that I call my friends. I love them; they're so fun. But one particular day, this guy, he was just looking really sad. I said, "What's going on? You all right?" And he just said, "I'm good. I'm just lonely." And I said, "Are you lonely? Are you alone?" Because it can be a difference. He said, "No, I'm lonely." So with this large senior population that we serve, and the large senior population that are by themselves in our communities, how significant is loneliness and social isolation as a mental health concern among older adults?
I mean, among the older, because I think, again, like the pack animal thing, you can even be around people and still be lonely. That, I think, is because, you don't really, you might like surfacely connect with people, but it's still, there's no deeper connection. Where I feel like is like, that's where the family comes in.
Right.
So these seniors, their family's not visiting them, and that's gotta hurt, right?
Yep.
Like you think, I've lived on this earth for this many years, and like the people that I grew up with, or that my actual family won't see me. Like, what did I do wrong? You start feeling that kind of stuff. That's gotta hurt, So there's a difference between like, surface level connections, like, oh, I see you, hey, good morning, and then like your family or your real friends being around.
Yeah. So when you do have those, because a lot of, like you said, our seniors, they don't have that family unit anymore.
Right.
And then the ones who do, right, they have their daughters or their sons or whoever coming to visit them, and so how can family support those loved ones who are struggling and going through mental or emotional health issues?
I mean, there's a lot you can do. It's just really showing up. And that's, I mean, I don't know if you...
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's even room for, if there's some kind of unresolved issues, like interpersonal issues between family members, there's room for them to do like therapy sessions
Group
about
therapies,
it. Family therapy, to try to, uncover what's going on and work on healing it. But I think like the most precious thing is like time, like he said, showing up.
Yeah.
Because I know, I tell you, like we seniors, like, were not in my periphery until Fatima approached us about this, and then once I start going to the senior buildings and seeing, it's like they're just almost like cast away, in a like just like closed away behind some door, and I'm just like, oh God, this must be so isolating. you know, and just when someone new comes through the building, they're like looking and, you know, and I'm just like, wow. And so the family members, I know everyone is like stretched incredibly thin right now. And it's just like, oh, you know, but if they could just prioritize, I mean, even if they could get out there once a month to see that person, I mean, it would probably make a big difference. Yeah. Especially because they, like he said, a lot of them raised up those kids, and now they feel like, you know, they're, you know, they devoted and sacrificed a lot to bring them to maturity, and now they can't even really get a visit. You know, now some of the parents, you know, it's like they call him, you know, and this is unfortunately happens with male clients where they kind of was giving a life to the streets or doing whatever, you know, or not really settling down and making good decisions, and then when they get older they want what do they call it, a hospice care kid. So all of a sudden when they get sick, they're popping up in their kids' lives, like, oh, can I stay with you, or oh, dad is sick, and you know, it's like, and that, you know, that's not right either. So you know, there's a part for people to do now as they're beginning to think about aging, which is you need to work on preserving those relationships, right? Because you don't know how it could turn out down the road. You could be alone in a community center by yourself.
You don't think about it when you're going through the fun times.
No.
You know, and abandoning those. And again, like you were just saying earlier about the community and the environment and how a lot of that can shape you. And like Huff, Glenville, where we're at right now, this community has experienced a lot of disinvestment and diversity. We know that. So as far as the trauma and the community trauma, how can that affect residents across generations? You kind of tiptoed around it a little bit earlier, but I'm trying to see how can we meet them where they are, and then let's get to the healing. So how do you think we can, you know, get to that, from that point A to point B, when you're in that environment and you're raised in an environment and it's from generation to generation and it's still happening?
Sure. So with that, and then it seems like there's no way out really. Like, this is where I live. Right. I don't really have the means or resources to live anywhere else, you know, and so how do I deal with the cards I'm dealt right now, kind of thing. Well, I know for we are strong proponents of this of a specific type of therapy called EMDR. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. So it stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And so it was, at its inception, they thought it was only good for healing like painful traumatic memories, but you know, that it was discovered in the 80s by a psychologist, Francine Shapiro. But now we know you can use it for anything, really. I've used it for performance anxiety, specific phobias, all kinds of different stuff, not just like trauma. But now the thing is, a lot of that stuff kind of was linked to like kind of something traumatic that happened in the past. Oh, wow. Those conditions in the present. And that's part of this therapy. There's like there's a little bit of regression work where you're going back and looking at older memories. But it's very effective, and it's not a lot of talking, like talk therapy. I think it's perfect for that person that says, I don't want to sit around and talk about this. I don't want to, because when they talk about it, they get flooded and they start their body, they get activated and they feel horrible. You know, they may even start to relive it and start to you know, so so that's one of the symptoms is avoidance. People don't bring it up. They don't want to think about it because they don't want to be activated. But yeah, so this therapy, it uses bilateral eye movements to help the brain reprocess the trauma or reprocess the memories related to whatever's going on in the present. And so you kind of go backwards and try to get to like kind of the first time that they had an experience similar to that. And it's an 8-part protocol. So I'm just like, you know, I'm very much like boiling it down to like concentrating it right now, but it is very successful. Like, I can remember the people that I've worked with that it did not work with. That's how successful it is. Wow. And I was at the end of right now I still see 2 clients. I'm not really seeing clients anymore, but I used it almost exclusively the last couple of years in my practice. So, and part of it's very expensive therapy. The training is, and so part of our heart is to make sure all of our therapists are trained in this, so that it can extend to our seniors and. And we were another area of focus of us is the LGBTQIA plus population too. Okay. So making sure that we're into the people that society is kind of like whatever. Right. That's our jam. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, but that's a good one for if you're talking about getting into a space of healing. Yeah. And it works. It can work really quickly too. Yeah.
And another thing that's like really great is Dr. Taj mentioned, like, imagine going to a therapy session where you open up, right? And you're like really getting into your feelings, and then all of a sudden they're like, all right, time's up. Right. I'll see you.
That's happened to me. And it's just I'm just getting started. Right, and like, wait, hear this part.
You have all these feelings now, and you got to carry them with you. Like now you got to, so the EMDR I've heard is like really good for that, because it allows you to like look at it, touch it, process it a little bit, and not just like unravel it. Like, or it's a way for you to process through it without really like having all that emotions come up. It's like watching a movie you can
at the end you don't let someone go back out like just flayed open. There's like containment is the at the end of it you're working on them, and it's very individualized, but there's a lot of visualization involved where the person you're working on making sure that they have put whatever you guys were working on into a place and is locked away and safe until the next session.
I love that.
So they're not leaving just like a raw pulsating nerve. Like walking down the street. And then and it's also teaching them how to regulate their emotions with these exercises and things like that they're learning, which is called resourcing. Okay. And there's so many different little tips and tricks and stuff, and and what I love about EMDR is people like would leave. I would work with them and they would be like, you know what, I'm like better, and they would leave. Which is what you want. I don't want to see somebody for 10 years. Yeah. I mean, I love my clients, but I want you to get better.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
That's why I love EMDR. And it's not a magic bullet. Like, it doesn't work for some people, but it does work for most. Yeah. I can say that.
Oh, that's really good. So when it comes to healing, right? So can healing happen while someone is still facing challenges?
Yes.
It can. So I'm thinking like, and let me just maybe be more specific and more concrete. So like housing instability, unemployment, all of those things that you just are really unsure what tomorrow brings. Yeah. So, you see what I'm saying?
I do.
So can that healing still happen when you're facing kind of those uncertainties that you can't control?
I mean, I'll say what I was with my like healing journey or like therapy journey. I was heavy into doing like drinking or like stuff like that where there was bad things happening, and I was still in active war zones and blah blah blah. So talking with people and getting those feelings out and those kind of things, it's kind of like a fire hose. But it was able to like put my thumb over it a little bit, so it was still spurred out, but I was able to like and then eventually when I got out of those things, I was able to turn the faucet off a little bit. So I think you can heal.
That's a really good analogy, and I asked that question because when you just feel that there's just no end, for you to say it like that, it's like, okay, I could still at least get this part in some controllable manner, and that's just my thought process. That's just my, okay, it's okay to talk about how I'm feeling, and to get some kind of, tool to use to make me not feel this way. Maybe not all day, right? Maybe half the day. It's a step, because again, we're going through our climate right now in this country is. It is what it is.
It's something.
You know what I mean? And so,
it's wild.
Yeah, and so when you just go through that, you're like, I don't know. It's just too much. Yeah. So I'm glad you used that. That's really good.
And I think that like if you're working with a therapist, also a big part of it is like coping skills. Yep. And I also think it's like is I know I've worked with people that it's like they're in this situation and nothing is changing about it anytime soon.
Right.
And so then it's like now we're working on a shift in their perspective about it, or like we're working with what we have. So is there a way that you can feel different about this situation?
Exactly.
And bring yourself some peace until it subsides, or there's all kind meditation, mindfulness. Those are really helpful. Like, and you can shift from feeling activated and come back, to baseline when when you look around and say, oh my God, things like that. And then also we have case management can help with that. And I've often thought that too, like if everything in their life is on fire, it's really hard for them to get therapy.
Yeah.
So that's why case management is so important, because that is that like on the ground foundational support, like literal like food banks and getting your medicine and that like
filing
that
disabilities.
Filing for getting back on Medicaid, getting your SNAP reinstated, but like that stuff those foundational building blocks that to get you to get someone stabilized, and then
and a lot of the processes aren't written like so that you can read it and understand it. So you need somebody that knows it, that can like even filing for disability or the housing stuff. When you read this 91-page thing and you're like, I don't know I don't even know where to begin with this. But somebody that has already been in it and they know, okay, well, you don't need 80 of these pages, you only need your section of it. Now they can take you where you need, and now you can get the resources that you need.
Yeah, and then you just kind of mentioned with the drinking and stuff like that. I want to just touch a little bit on recovery, because we know that it's bookend. So your depression, your mental health issues, your emotional health issues, whatever you're going through can either lead you to that where you want to just escape and numb what you're going through, or you started that and that has led to the mental health or issues. So as far as recovery, do you guys also help with that, or people who are going through some addictions and things of that nature? And how do you serve that?
Yeah. Sure. So currently we're not running any it's level of care is like the correct term, and so we don't have any like IOP or partial hospitalization programming or inpatient or anything like that. We have a couple therapists that will do like an OP, something to satisfy that, where they're meeting with them multiple times a week. Yeah. If they can't get in a place or something, they'll try to do a patch so that they're able to do that. But at this time, we're not running any like recovery specific programming. Yeah. Okay. So, but we do treat people because a lot of people want just therapy, and they don't want to go to a higher level of care.
Well, they have jobs and stuff too, right? And it's like time consuming.
Yeah.
And what is it? The big three is your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, right? So like if you can affect one of those, it affects the other two. And if you affect if you can change your thinking pattern, then your behavior changes, and then your emotions change, because they're all like intrinsically tied together. And the big three is is that CBT or is that?
That's CBT.
Yeah. That's good. I like that. Yeah. So I really think that, and this is not substantiated by numbers or facts, this is just my opinion and then just me looking, okay, that there are not enough resources available for our communities in regard to behavioral health. So if you could change one thing, and I think you're doing it, right? But if there is something else you can change about the behavioral health system, what would it be?
I would say access to care, maybe. That would be, because there is programs out there, but like, let's say with Medicaid, if you make $1,199, and this is an example, you don't get Medicaid. If you make $1,200, you get Medicaid. There's just like a steep cutoff where it's like, you make $1 extra, you don't get this entire life-changing amount of healthcare, and you don't get access to these things. Now you're making $1,199, and now you have to pay these $100 sessions. You have to pay like all your dental, like it's so. I think it would be access to care on the front of like maybe opening it up to letting more people that just because you may not have like an income barrier or something like that, like letting more people access mental health and the resources that they need.
And I think being more accessible.
Yes.
You know, like a lot of times we have to dig. You know, and it's stuff that's literally available right there, but you don't know because they're not vocal about it or they're not promoting it in that way. Okay, if you need this help, this, and this.
Right.
That's just my issue. I just hate when I see it and I go down and like I said, the veterans. It's one of our biggest populations that's homeless.
Right.
They fought for our country.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you had another one.
Oh no. Oh, for what I'd like to change? Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Because that it's like a cliff. So like a person, now I make $1,200 a month as opposed to $11.99, and now I can afford all my medicine. It's like, come on, for that extra dollar. And I think that the scales are off too. I think they're antiquated. It's not doesn't reflect what it really takes to like survive. Yeah. Because and I think some kind of universal health care. Yeah. Where, everyone just knows I have a right to be seen regarding my bodily and mental wellness. Yeah. And I don't have to worry about it. We're like the only industrialized country that can't get it right. We're
backsliding.
It's backsliding for sure.
Yeah. Like my partner's from Colombia, and they even have it down there. It's like, come on. Do you know what I mean? And that country isn't nearly as developed as us, but they figured it out. Yeah.
We actually hired. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
We actually hired a office assistant from the Philippines. Okay. And they're making their wages there, but one of the things that they get provided is healthcare. And with the limited wages that they're still getting, which is great for in the Philippines, they're still able to provide them healthcare for the amount of their hourly, and it doesn't translate to if you were in America, that's you have to buy your own healthcare, and it's hundreds of dollars a month that you have to to even be able to go to the doctor.
The premium is just like a ticket into the park. Yeah. Because then you got your deductibles and your...
I say deductibles. And you have to meet a certain deductible.
Yeah. Yes. I want to touch on the insurance thing. It's so bad because you have your premium. Let's say your premium's $1,000. Now you pay your $1,000 a year. But every year you have a deductible of $5,000. So if I go to the doctor and I go to see 20 different people and they charge me the $5,000 worth of stuff, I still have to pay that $5,000 to get my insurance to kick in to pay the rest of it. It doesn't make any sense.
And then that resets every year.
Every single year, calendar year.
It's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, this is really heavy. So let's shift gears for a second. Okay. Have a little bit of fun. Okay. So I do this thing. It's called the lightning round. So I ask a question, and the first thing that comes to your mind is your answer.
Oof.
Okay.
I don't know if can we cuss on here?
No, it's a family show. Okay, Everyone asks that too. Everyone asks that.
I'm Ahmed's son, so.
Yeah. All right, y'all ready?
Yeah, you have to know our dad to get that joke. Yeah. We are his children.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Tea. Matcha tea.
Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Morning person.
You guys are opposite. Who's older? Beach vacation or mountain getaway?
Beach.
Mountain getaway.
You guys were raised in the same household?
Yes.
Okay. Favorite self-care activity?
Pilates, reformer Pilates.
I'm going to say recently mine is sleep. I used to sleep terribly, and now I'm I got a bed that changes the temperature of the covers, and I sleep 7 hours sometimes now. That's never happened.
That sounds amazing.
It's so good.
How is it for you going from the different, because you live in California now. Mm-hmm. How is the time zone?
The time zone, I never really get it. If I go to another place, like 12, or 8 hours difference, then that's a big one. But this isn't bad. 3 hours isn't bad.
Okay.
I'll just go to bed earlier. Wait.
Okay, so what's one thing you do to recharge besides sleep?
Was that our fit? No, we had. This is
right?
another one.
Fishing.
Okay.
Fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, pottery.
Really?
I started taking pottery classes. And
You know what I want to start doing? Okay, it's gonna sound old.
Like pottery.
Crochet.
I want to learn how to crochet.
A lot of people do that.
I do.
Yeah.
I want to make like quilts and blankets and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think
Little Freddy Cougar sweaters. And
right, right. I do little pot oven mitts and stuff.
I think like I don't know if like part of it is a lot of my work is like intangible, and I can't see like directly like how it's working all the time, and so that's why I was gravitating towards like making something with my hands.
Yeah.
And it's like I poured this time in it, and it's like I could see it. I think that's what, and so yeah, and I've been learning the pottery wheel, how to work it, like Ghost.
Like also like the movie.
Yeah.
Without Patrick Swayze. But it's okay.
R.I.P.
Right. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
All languages.
Oh, really?
Pick up all languages.
The first thing came to my mind was invisible, to be able to turn invisible.
Mine would be able to read minds.
That's a big one too. I don't know if I want that, because you might get you walk around people and just be like, I don't even do nothing.
But then you know who they are.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's your most useless talent?
Oh.
Or any hidden talents?
Useless. I can walk on my hands. I don't know.
What? Seriously?
I don't know if I could still do it. I used to walk on my hands. Yeah.
That's some good upper strength.
Yeah, I used to be able to do it for
a hidden talent. I used to ride motorcycles. I'm thinking about buying one again.
They're so dangerous.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
I bet it is. It's so dangerous.
It's so fun. We've been going to the places looking, thinking about getting a. It's been I haven't ridden in a long time, but yeah.
That sounds like fun. All right. Do you guys eat grits?
Yes. I do.
Here it comes. Okay, so.
Okay.
You two are amazing. You're extremely impressive. You're very talented, very smart. I love the work that you're doing and everyone else does. But this next question is going to really determine.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
The age-old battle.
Sugar or no sugar in grits?
Sugar and cheese.
Yes.
My people.
For sure.
My people.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, now you got an A+ for sure. Y'all were at an A-, but now you're at an A+.
Yeah.
Amazing. You don't eat sugar and grits. It's that, let me tell you, this has gotten me death threats. This question. When I posted, like, you don't put sugar in grits. Yes, you do.
Yes,
Yes,
do.
Yes, you do. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, y'all heard that, right? Okay. All right. So listen, thank y'all for being here.
Yeah.
I want you guys to leave our people with some encouraging words and also how you can be reached.
Yeah. I'll start off, I guess. Encouraging words would just be everybody is doing the best they can. Like, nobody chooses to wake up and say, I'm going to do worse today. Right? So give people grace and then do your best as you can every day. Just keep going. Where we can be reached, we have a website, www.kindredharbor.org. And then also you can give us a call if you want to talk to somebody like kind of immediately, 216-777-6062. That'll be the office number. But again, the website is www.kindredharbor.org. Also social medias as well.
Yeah. Insta is at Kindred Harbor.
At Kindred Harbor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll actually put that on the screen as well so people can reach you. So thank y'all. Thank y'all for doing the work.
This was fun.
And for being here and talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate that. Okay. And for you guys, please follow, like, share, subscribe. Until next time, I'm Ebony Webster. Peace.
Bye.